Hello, and welcome to part 2 of Writing for Hollywood, the act of breaking in. Every year, there are tens of thousands of screenplays registered at the Writers Guild, but only a few hundred actually get produced. The thing is, yours could be one of those few, but you have to have passion, that and a good dose of education. Anyone can write. To write screenplays that sell, however, requires skill. It's a skill that you're going to have to refine through study and practice. It honors me to lead into this next section by introducing you to the founder and director of the prestigious Hollywood Script Writing Institute, Donna Lee.
They must, of course, get an education in script writing. A college education is very beneficial, but most beneficial is getting your script in the highest professional form as possible. They can tell immediately. The producers fan through a script and can tell just by the setup if it's too wordy, if there's too much dialogue, if the spacing isn't right. But that is just the beginning. You must learn to write in every aspect of screenwriting techniques as possible, and naturally the beginning, middle, and end. Know your structure, get your characters that come to life and live forever, hopefully. Get your screenplay in the best possible way that you can get a screenplay to say something that you are really white hot about. And you usually need help in order to do this. One of the hardest things for screenwriters to learn is dialogue. And we have a special section in our course where we work with screenwriters to do this. For instance, you have to learn how to write very succinctly, but write in what we call subtext. And it's tricky to learn, but you can learn it. And with help, with a mentor, one-on-one private lessons type that we give, you can learn it and learn it well and become a professional writer. Get your scripts to those producers and get them there in a professional manner. And of course, we help as much as we can.
You know, we're all very encouraging when we find a good piece of material, and everybody really wants to see writers succeed. It isn't a private vendetta to keep those inexperienced writers out. It's just that they need to be able to know that their skill as a writer, it's a craft that has to be practiced and honed, and I really advise a lot of you to not ignore the classics, to read as much as you can. Get your hands on anything. There are scripts available. You can get them through the Academy. They will give you copies of movies that have been made. I advise you to read the script and rent the movie and compare the sort of the filmmaking process to the writing process. It's a really interesting experience. You can also, I think, buy the scripts of movies that have been made in various bookstores, or I think there are even catalogs. And it will help you a great deal to see how the writing process becomes the movie. And I think you'll learn to avoid the certain mistakes, or you can figure out why the movie was such a success, because of the dialogue, because the characters were so rich and textured. And you know, but again, getting back to classic literature, that is the basis of all screenplays, of all written word. If you can endure it, read Shakespeare, because he covered all the classic mythology of life: love, hate, greed, anger, lust, anything you can name. It all sort of comes back to that. Greek mythology is also very hard to read, I know, but it really gives you the basis of writing. And some of the Japanese samurai movies, I know you'll laugh, but they have such great mythology to them, and if you watch them carefully, you'll understand the human condition, and that, I think, is the basis of many, many great screenplays.
Most obvious things that any writer needs is a command of the language that you're going to be writing in. So, at the risk of stating some obvious things, the key essentials for any writer is his or her ability to write the language clearly, to be able to create some style that communicates your ideas clearly, whether it's in screenplay form or in prose fiction, in a novel form, or whether you're deciding to write nonfiction. You still have to have fundamental control of your vocabulary, your sentence structure, your syntax, all of the basic things that your teachers have been telling you since you've been in school are absolutely critical to success as a writer. Do you need to know how to spell? It helps, but that is not as critical as fundamental skills of grammar, sentence construction. After all, these are the tools with which you're going to build a writing career. They may not be the tools that anyone else would need for a different kind of occupation, but if you're going to call yourself a writer and you're going to approach other professionals as a professional, they're going to expect the least of you that you have command of these fundamentals. Also, obviously, the second most obvious thing is your own education. Writers draw from all sources of knowledge that they possess, whether it's in the classroom, outside the classroom. It helps to get the best education you can. And this does not necessarily mean that you should be going on to college per se or graduate school. That's an individual choice. There are many successful writers who have not done that. There are an equal number of successful writers who have had advanced academic careers and have changed into something else and become successful novelists. There are non-practicing lawyers who are writing books. Michael Crichton, who I'm sure you all know is an enormously successful novelist, is a doctor. Mr. Grisham is publishing many successful novels, is an attorney, was formerly a member of the House of Representatives in the state of Mississippi. So there are a wide variety of careers that lead into writing and lead out of writing into other things. But the level of education necessary for any given person really is their choice. The more that you can acquire, the more knowledge you can acquire as opposed to education, the better, because all of that knowledge will be useful in the long run.
I'm a firm believer that young people need to continue their education after high school. The reason I feel this way is because you've got to be in command of the English language, and the better scripts are not only good stories, but they're good stories that are told well. And the way they get to be told well is because the writer has a good command of the language. Scripter, I'm sorry for mentioning product here, but any of the screenwriting programs that all the software that's out now, and there's several of them that supposedly teach you how to write a script. They don't teach you how to write a script, and what they do for you is not what learning the language through writing those awful research papers that you have to write in college in all kinds of different classes, be it a science class, an English class, what have you. But if you go to college and you spend the 4 years there, you're pretty much assured that you're going to have to write 50 papers over the 4 years. And those 50 papers are going to give you a basis in crafting, crafting good declarative English sentences, because that's what's going to make the script ultimately move when you get into the script writing mode or medium. The other thing is, of course, life's experiences. You got to have something better to tell than, you know, the funniest thing that happened in the dormitory. So the worst thing you could do is try to earn your living part-time as being a script reader. You don't want to do that. You think you want to do that, but you really don't want to do that, because what you want to do is you want to get out there. You want to have a job in a gas station, selling at a department store, working as a park ranger, a camp counselor, because you've got to get in there and live the life of a human being, so that these notions and experiences, which are kind of floating out there for you, will someday help you craft those experiences into a cohesive 3-act story. So it's a twofold thing, you know, life's experiences and a formal education. So I'm all for both, and The other thing that person can do to break in is take seminars. Look, if you want to go to be a lawyer, you know that law school is going to cost you bucks. If you want to be a doctor, the same thing. If you want to be an optometrist, I mean, any of the professions are going to cost you money. So don't feel that seminars are out to get you. There's plenty of ways and plenty of reputable classes that you take, you know, that will really, really help you, not only in giving you insight into, further insight into screenwriting, but also to meet people who you'll kind of go up the ranks with. Every generation or every group of new people that break in oftentimes help each other, network with each other, and kind of break in together. Kind of a generational thing even. So it's a good idea to get your kitchen cabinet going as soon as you can, and, you know, meeting people that are in your game or in a related game. People who want to be producers, they need your material. So those kinds of relationships oftentimes begin at seminars, because that's, you know, that's a real good way to already weed out people who are serious about getting into it and people who talk about getting into it. So professional seminars, a formal education, and living life combined with your own passion that you must write. You can't do anything else. That's a good foundation.